All right, this is session 97. Who wants to give a recap of session 96?
The decision was made. That's the main thing. It happened. We are someplace now with the just outside the dragon's lair. That's all that matters. We'll move on.
No take backsies.
I was reminded that we needed the speed of the gods to prevent both disasters. And my gods answered. That was literally what spurred it. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just try it. Now we got a week before I can do that again.
Right. But as this, you need the speed of the gods to prevent either the fall of a nation or, the speed of the gods to prevent both the fall of the nation and the return of
God's release.
The mad god.
Whichever one they might be fucking referring to, I guess, in this case. Who knows? I would guess Thursden, but is that who we established that should be? I forgot.
Could be Vecna.
Yeah.
Well,
but the Risden is probably the mad god.
Right. Vecna might be angry, but he's not the mad god.
The annoyed god versus the mad god.
He's a little ticked off.
So from what I call last session, we got Kepri back, and we and Aurelia discovered that that Kepri's memory was probably modified, and so Zarius was able to reverse that, and Kepri began freaking out, going like, we need to get to the patron with that ungodly long name. And then eventually she calmed her tits when we were like, okay, we'll go. That's what we'll do. We'll go. And then she's like, oh, okay. And so we had decided that we're gonna try to do that, but then we also reached out to the vampire who we thought might be the assassin. And it turns out they were just trying to piss off the cult of Vecna, who are the ones that are working to assassinate us. And the vampire was doing it just to be a dick to them. Didn't really have much to do with us, from what I gathered. And so we assumed that, okay, so there's an assassin probably coming, so let's at least make things ready in case that happens. And so Clave arranged the room so that we would be hidden and could observe in case anybody broke in. And the Eaters of Dust came and ripped through the magical boulder sitting in front of the door and the door, and we attacked. Clave blasted them with a prismatic spray, and then also we just started engaging them, and they teleported us, or we ended up in some kind of in between realm between the material plane and the void, where we were unable to move, but they could move freely. Zarius and Aurelia got fucked up. They took some damage. Clave was just fine because he was bobbing and weaving. They couldn't seem to hit him. But Aurelia got to the point where she was near dead, and engaged her emergency pool in case of whatever, and in the process infected Zarius with the teleporting plague.
And Kepri.
Doing so good.
I thought he
so
made
good
the
at
save.
avoiding it.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my favorite parts of the session was Aurelia's spell names,
Yes.
including Astral Plague Infector.
Right.
So, but we were able to destroy the Eaters of Dust, who kind of just vaporized in death. So we weren't able to try to interrogate them at all. And then slowly we
Well,
were
someone
transitioned-
asked who sent you, and the Eater of Dust just laughed.
Oh, okay. So we at least get the sense that they understood us. But then we transitioned back to the regular prime material realm, and Clave quickly put up the door barrier and everything once again. And then we started hearing banging on the door, and we're like, okay, somebody's trying to investigate. Clave and Zarius kind of argued about how to deal with it, and Zarius encouraged Clave to just do the thing and make it all go away because they'll believe me. And so he turned into Beehole and did his best impression and shooed the underlings away in the fashion befitting of the Emperor in disguise. And
Naked?
then
Yes,
yeah,
below the waist.
because that's the only way to travel.
Yeah, it's the Emperor's new clothes.
So, and then once that got all taken care of, Zarius, like, we decided that we were going to start heading to Zarius's patron, because we figured that probably there was enough time to deal with that if we could get there quick enough before we had to worry about the potential battle at the Tefnut Oasis.
Plus Kepri has been our reliant source of food for this trip,
Yes,
and she was going no matter what.
and we still need food.
Yeah. And it's just better if she has the spell and I don't have to prepare it.
Although, yeah, Clave did point out that you did have, I don't know that you brought it with you, but a little bird cage. So Kepri could have simply been put back into her cage.
I'm not doing that.
Kepri will remember that.
And so Zarius prayed to Anubis, and Anubis answered. And now we are Osiris. And now we
Same
are
difference.
on the essentially the doorstep of the lair of his patron.
So the only other thing that happened is Zarius also cast Legend Lore, and immediately his mind was filled with essentially the tale of every sacrifice that's ever been made to the sage. And so he has more or less an encyclopedic knowledge of that now, and a pretty much flawless insight into any potential thing you might sacrifice to the sage. Although, as I said, I don't know if you saw it, Tony, in my own summary of the session. You would also know that almost certainly your patron would know where Dohat Bajar is, because she was here when it existed.
I do recall. Yeah. I did see that in there.
Yeah.
And also, Clave, roll me percentile dice
Oh yeah, here we go.
as I flip to the special table to see what happens.
How bad does the plague get? Big money, no whammy, no whammy. Big money, no whammy. Big money, no whammy.
That's a biggish whammy.
Let's see.
Well, we'll get that information from the patron before we bring them to sacrifice to the Southern Sage, and then get that information.
So, I assume you've simply shape changed at the moment,
Yeah,
or alter self, I guess is the ability.
So. Yeah, I'll put in the chat if it's helpful, that ability. Change appearance.
This is different than seeming.
Yes,
Yes.
this is my changeling ability.
Oh, okay.
So you're still able to use this ability freely. What you do find though is after about an hour, like around the time that you wind up on the top of this mesa in the desert, all of you notice that your forehead is sort of sloping forward, and it's giving the top of your head a rather flat appearance. It is almost as if your skull is elongating as it deflates a bit, and it becomes more oblong. And you're able to change your appearance back to make your skull the correct shape again, but it's like slowly deflates so that it becomes noticeable after the course of about an hour. If you
Okay.
didn't have the shape change ability, it would just be stuck that way.
Is this just Clave's forehead, or is all of our foreheads?
No, it's just him.
Oh, that's good. Otherwise, T will have things to worry about.
Right.
Does-
And you notice that the skin around your head begins to droop a bit in addition to the flattening of the skull.
Do I feel it's shifting?
It feels unusual. It's a very slow process. So it feels like there's like a pressure on your head.
Mhm.
It's not painful, but it feels like you've got something very tight wrapped around your head, and it's slowly changing the shape of your skull.
Okay. So Clave will probably just be very, yeah, I don't know how Clave is going to deal with that. I think probably he would just, for the time being, ignore it given the circumstances, and probably just feel like it's just feeling weird and not realize that it's actually changing the way that he appears.
So here's like, is it changing in such a way that like I might be concerned about the like shape of his brain as a physician?
Right. I mean, you would imagine that the change in the shape of the cavity, it should involve some pressure on the brain,
Uh-huh.
but it doesn't seem as though it's impairing him as far as you can tell. It does, however, like you would, maybe not so much you, but it does give him a somewhat primitive appearance, because
Right.
like the skin starts to bunch up as the skull flattens. It seems like he's getting a bit of a brow ridge. But you don't know at this point, like, what if you just let it go? How far will your head deflate?
What's he look like otherwise? Like, is he in the same like whatever form he was in at the time? But that
Yes.
is happening then?
Right. Whatever form he's in, he's slowly deflating from the top down.
Now, with the way that Clave's appearance changing ability functions, does he have to completely change out of that form and back into the form, or can he just kind of will himself to revert?
Yeah, you could just will yourself to revert.
Okay.
So it's, it's something that you basically have to think about. Right. And I would say after the course of an hour, the change is significant enough that you almost certainly would notice it then.
Mhm.
But from minute to minute, you don't really notice much of a change.
I think Clave will probably let it go until somebody like points it out to him.
Who wants to be that person?
I don't think T-Hole would miss an opportunity
I
to be
mean,
honest. He's saying he's to be like, Clave, you're looking a little long in the face.
What do
He's
you mean?
constantly changing form. This isn't unusual.
Your head is shrinking. It's flattening. Is this one of your appearance tricks? Or
No. Does anybody have a mirror?
Not anymore.
just
Finally, it comes back. Clave gets his comeuppance now that he needs a mirror.
I mean, just feel your face.
What
Can you
the?
Can you reform?
What is? You see, Clave like furrows his brow, and like the head seems to re-inflate. And how is it now?
Seems fine. Perhaps you are just getting old.
No, this is. First of all, I'm not that old. You know, I feel a little off ever since we left. Maybe Osiris? Maybe this is something Osiris did in the transition?
Perhaps you angered him.
What did I do to anger Osiris?
What did you do to anger Osiris indeed? T-Hole like kind of harumphs.
Gods are fickle like that.
But I'll examine him. Do I have a spell prepared for this? Like,
You can make me a medicine check.
Jesus Christ.
Wow.
Well, it's still a 16.
Right.
What a
You're not-
killer medicine.
I am not.
You're really,
I'm not into it.
yeah, you're not really sure what's causing the head deflation. Like it's not a symptom you've heard of before.
I just go up and like hand on your chin, like move your head back and forth. You seem fine. Let us move.
Your shit's fucked. Let's go on. Let's move on.
So you're standing on top of a mesa. Over top, it's extremely overcast, which is unusual for the desert, but sort of similar to what you would expect given what you saw when you were approaching the borders of the Warmlands. Below you, you could see there is what looks to be a fairly fertile field in front of you, stretching out towards, in the far distance, the river, probably the Red Nalome. The thing is, you don't exactly know where you are on the map at this moment, but that would be Zarius's best guess, given what he sees. To the north, you could see there is a drier patch. The desert begins to expand towards the north. So you're gathering you're pretty far south along the Red Nalome, in the mountains where your patron dragon lives. Also in the distance, you see the wind has kicked up what looks to be like a cloud of dust. It's not like a dust storm. It's, probably no more than about 20 feet across, but it does seem as though this collection of dust is heading directly in your direction, moving at speeds that are, you know, probably sort of comparable to what you would expect while you were wind walking.
So very fast.
Right. Although it is still, you know, probably it's several hundred yards away. So you have a round or two if you want to do something.
Or a place to sort of hide out while we get our bearings.
Well, at the moment, you're on top of this mesa, so there's not really much. I mean, there you could take cover behind some rocks.
Could using an action point, could Clave cast Liamon's tiny hut as an action?
You could. I'll just say you don't really have to. I don't want you to waste an action point on
Okay.
this. I feel like that might be too much of a misdirect by me.
Okay. So Clave just kind of puts his hands out and a shimmering barrier appears around us, hemispherical, and it looks like kind of the prismatic effect of like a soap bubble.
Anybody else doing anything?
Can we maybe make a nature or survival check to determine if this is like a natural thing or for the desert, or if this is somewhat unusual?
Does anybody, well, other than Aurelia and Peter, always remind me whenever I say, is somebody proficient in something, I count Aurelia because of Jack of all trades.
Oh, okay.
I just forget that. But either Aurelia or anybody who's proficient in survival or nature could try.
Clave is not.
Christ. Roll better, you fuckhead. Jesus.
I just think Clave's obviously been marked by the gods and they're coming for him.
Nothing with them here. I don't know. I'd glance at it, but I think I'm, you know, probably a little more concerned about determining the best entrance. And I would probably consult with Kefri about is this a space that she is familiar with? Perhaps there's an entrance that she knows of nearby.
So, yeah, as Kepri's about to answer, this dust cloud is essentially right on top of you, but it stops dead in front of you, no longer moving. You would have noticed with your survival check that it was moving against the prevailing wind. And didn't, if it was slowed by that wind, then it must be even faster than wind walk normally. But it does stop, and you see almost like a curtain of invisibility is being drawn away. A person appears. Actually, let me send a quick message. It appears to be a halfling who steps out of this invisibility that he seems to sort of sweep away, and bringing his hand around him, all of the dust vanishes as well. And it's just now this halfling standing in front of you. And he says, "Hello, I am Gadam of the Dansarar. I have come to talk with you. You have stirred up quite a bit of trouble since you've been in the South, haven't you?"
How do you know we would be here?
"I am a servant of Neniak Nadom, a long-suffering servant of Neniak Nadom, you might say. And many people believe that you are the key to finding the Wand of Eternity's doorstep, which would be quite a problem for the world. I have been asked to discover and to find out from you, what are your plans?"
I'm sorry, but you're one of the Dancerar. Openly.
I am. You're a strange one to me. I don't know what you are. You're of my kind, but you feel different.
I am different. Can't say exactly how, but this is at least what I've been told.
Remind me who they are again?
You
Changeless.
wouldn't, you don't know what the term dancer are.
Oh, okay.
But
This
Clave
T-hole,
does.
Oh,
does TS T-hole heard of the Dancerars?
so Clave wouldn't reveal that because he's not appearing as a Dancerar, but he's claiming to be one.
Anybody can make me a history check. Well, I guess Aurelia, a jack of all trades, maybe you heard it somewhere, I guess.
Tiny dancers, I've heard of them.
So, I mean, you would be aware that they are kind of like doppelgangers, actually probably the same species as Clave in their
Okay.
natural form, but they're able to adopt other forms.
Okay.
And he raises his hand and begins to trace out in the air. You could see lines of magical energy as he makes a little circle in the air with a symbol inside it. As he regards Clave, you are strange in more ways than one, I think. You're not Dancerar. You're newer than that. But there's also an energy. And he begins to retrace the pattern as he regards all of you. All of you seem to be suffering from some sort of curse.
How could he even
Well,
see us?
He drew away the curtain, like the invisibility afforded
curtain
by the
did,
tiny
but-
hut.
Is that what he did with the tiny hut?
You didn't put up
Well-
Tiny Hut.
No, I put it up, but it's see-through.
Oh, you made it see-through.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Who does this?
Yes,
Who does that
And
with a
you know,
tiny
I
hut?
would
Clave, he does that.
I would do I get a sense of like, can I do an insight check to see like my gut feeling about this guy?
Sure. I mean, you would know your gut feeling about this guy, but
Yeah,
you
that's
could
true. No,
you could do an insight check to see what his attitude is.
yeah. Oof.
And I feel like I would just be inciting the shit out of this guy. So
You can roll
I'll just-
insight too.
how's this fucker?
I mean, he seems as if he is here on business. That's the sense you get. And his business is probably to suss out what your plans are.
what city did he say he was from, or what
He
god?
said he serves Neniak Nadom. That's another
Does-
one where if you wanted to make a history check, you might know the reference.
Jesus, I'm running terribly.
T-hole named that,
Right.
god.
You would know. So about 1,000 years before, there was a war in the South called the War of Flame and Sorrow. Neniak Nadom, it was supposed to be where this Lord of Fire from the elemental plane of fire was trying to invade. Neniak Nadom imprisoned either this Fire Lord or some great servant of his that was key to the Fire Lord's plan. The stories vary on what exactly got imprisoned. Essentially just ending the war. So, but he was an archmage who apparently resided here in the South.
So does he predate T-hole?
No, you'd be a good bit older than him. I mean, I guess you don't, there's no story about where he came from, so who knows how old he is. He was around 1,000 years ago. But
Yeah.
that is T-hole has
Yeah.
been around for probably about 3,000 years.
Yeah, that's fair. Sorry, I'm getting back into
Yep.
that piece.
So as I
Neniac.
said, Neniac Nadom sends his regards, but is very curious as to whether or not you are seeking to end the world, as many think you are.
Why would we wish to do this?
We live on this
Uh,
world.
There are people who worship the mad god who would see him freed, and that would certainly spell the end for all of us. Some people see oblivion as better than continued existence.
Well, I can't speak for the rest of my companions, but I serve no mad god. As far as the wand at eternity's doorstep, I came into the group when they were already being hunted for having it. But we've never actually possessed it. As far as I know, we haven't really even been actively seeking it.
Yes,
Many of
I
the
would.
portents, God,
I would counsel you to think of these accusations in a different manner. What if word is going around, and it has, that we are seeking to end the world and we're seeking the wands of eternity's doorstep? What other who is spreading that, and to what ends? To avoid detection or gaze on what they're doing, which may be to seek those own means. We have no intention of ending the world. And to Clay's point, we've hardly been even actively seeking it. We've mostly been traveling the continent, addressing various hurts that the Empire has done. And as well as the various hurts that the Empire and the followers of the mad god have inflicted.
but it is known to me that you recovered the Book of the Wand, and that has perhaps led people to some insight as to how to recover the wand itself. Neniac Nadom would prevent this if possible, but the portents are very confused, and most of them show your group as having some involvement in the future of the wand. I myself do not know what capacity you might interact with the wand in. Perhaps you are not meant to possess it yourself. Perhaps you're meant to possess it to prevent the others, like the cult of Thurisdan, from getting it. Perhaps to prevent the Empire from getting it, if, as you say, you are preventing various harms, for lack of a better word, that the Empire may be producing. I don't
If-
know exactly whose side are you on?
Our side. And what mad god are you talking about? Most of them are batshit crazy. You have to be a little more specific.
Thurisdan, of course.
Oh,
the
yeah.
elemental eye,
Okay.
who sits imprisoned in the void, but who could be set free with the original rod of Asmodeus.
This is like one of very few people we've actually heard say the name Thurisdan, right?
Yes.
I believe if our involvement with the wand is strictly dictated by fate. It was never our intention to ever seek this artifact, but it has been thrust in front of our path, and it is likely we will encounter it.
If anything, we've been
Perhaps.
seeking. seeking to do the opposite, to prevent it from being misused.
That would be our
As I
preferred goal,
said-
is to prevent others from acquiring it.
As I said, perhaps that is how you interact with it in the future. Or perhaps the portents are so confused that other people acting around you simply assume that you will get it in the future.
All I can say for certain is, since I've joined this group, we've been chased by this cult of the void, cult of Vecna, the corrupted empire with Turbo and Herlot. We've fought creatures that I've never seen before, and at best have only heard about in stories and research. As far as I can say, the only thing that we've been seeking is to do some good and survive all of these enemies that seem beset to take us on.
And yet I can sense you're all void touched. If you were members of the cult of Thurisdan, you probably would be considered quite holy. But from the standpoint of normal living beings, I fear you may be doomed to die. You cannot absorb that sort of power without your flesh eventually failing.
Are we all doomed to die? Well, most of us.
Well, we
far
are
as I
seeking
can
a
tell.
cure for that. It's one of the reasons why we're here, aside from helping my friend.
Sounds like
Dragonborn
I'll hold up
friend.
a hand and say, this ailment, you say, it is derived from the void.
It is of the energy of the void.
I don't believe this is something I know. I don't know if I ever was able to determine that detail.
You were able to determine that it's very similar to the disease that Malakar had. You know, and he was essentially kind of a melted bag of
Oh.
flesh by the time you found him.
Oh, that was so long ago. I don't remember. Okay. And okay. Were we able to kind of make him better? What did we do with him?
You left him in the care of his apprentice.
I think we eased some, we eased some of his last hours.
Right. She was going to try to cure him with the help of Eidvolt the Seer in the void. But you don't necessarily, you didn't stick around to find out if she was successful in that. You know that she was essentially going to try like wish and some ritual that Eidvolt knew.
Well, we know that wish does not work.
You know that now.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you luck in finding your cure. Have you all been to the void?
I was born there.
I don't recall ever being in the void.
This one was not there, no.
But
I suppose it's neither here nor there. I would just warn you from Neniak Nadom himself. Possessing the wand is extremely hazardous. It is suffused with the material of the void. Your bodies might not survive direct contact with it. Your minds might not survive direct contact with it. It takes exceptional magical precautions to even be in its presence. So if you were to come into contact with it, be very, very careful.
All the more reason why we should just prevent others from getting to it. Do you
So if
know
we-
of any other agents working towards it?
I think many are, as I understand it. The cult of Thurisdan actively seeks it to free their god. The cult of Vecna seeks it so that Vecna might absorb the power of the mad god and become a god himself, which has long been a goal of his. Some in the Empire seek it because they think it just to be a normal object of magical power, able to enhance their own position, possibly use it to conquer. Although the opinion in the Empire is divided on whether or not the wand should be used in that way. It's mostly individuals who see the gain in gathering up the powers of the wand for themselves. The giants, so far as I know, are unaware of the wand. The demons are very acutely aware of it and seeking to find it again. I believe they've re-engaged their former allies, the cult of Vecna, and are working with them once again to locate it. At this point, we don't know how close they are to finding it, though we're hopeful that it will still take them months, if not years. That said, Neniac Nadom is very concerned that somehow you will lead them to it. Since you did have the Book of the Wand, and the Book of the Wand is supposed to have some details on the location of it.
I don't think we don't have that book
Why
anymore,
not?
do we?
Yeah,
We
no,
got
you
rid-
got rid of.
We got
You
rid
gave
of
it
it as soon
to-
as we
to an
left the
elf?
manor.
Yeah, you gave
we're
it
not
to
gonna
an
talk
elf
about that,
captain,
though.
and then the elf captain, the elves got destroyed by the Empire, and the Empire took the book.
Yeah, the Empire has a book. If the Empire still doesn't know how to fucking get the thing, then that's good. I will ask once more, how did you know we would be here in this time?
I was sent to this location by Neniac Nadom. He said you would be here. The Portents apparently said that you would be here.
We didn't.
My Portents didn't say anything. And he looks down at his, he pulls out his teacup and looks at the bottom and he just shakes it.
You're able to sense the affliction that we're affected by. Do you happen to have any means of curing us?
I am able to sense the affliction and the negative energy from the void, but I don't know how to remove that energy or what to do with it if I could get it out. Hopefully there's some way of channeling it back into the void. Neniac and Nadom may know more, but I think it would require some degree of research into what this specific affliction is, as it's strange and new to me. Perhaps he's encountered it before, but it wasn't mentioned to me when I came here.
I only know of one way of reversing it. And it is not a magic that we possess.
What would this magic be?
A reversal of time upon the body.
I suppose if you took your body back in time to a point before you had the disease.
Yes.
That is something to consider. I also am not sure if you went back in time, would you not carry the energy with you?
This is a fairly educated guess.
Well, as I said, I wish you luck in finding a way to travel back in time then.
Are your fears assuaged?
Perhaps with your strange acute knowledge, you might know of the whereabouts of a female sphinx.
I do not know the whereabouts of a gynosphinx. There are probably hundreds living in the desert somewhere. However, we do not interact with them very often.
Perhaps your boss can let you know, and then you can let us know.
I will ask him, and if it pleases him to provide you with a response, I will return. That is assuming he knows of such a location. It will be some time. I'm sure he will be able to figure out a place where we might run into one another again if the gods allow it. But I think I have what I need. I am sorry if my appearance disturbed you at all, and I thank you for your time.
Yes, I prefer taller people.
And the halfling steps back, and again, he sort of wheels his hand in the opposite direction around himself. And it seems as if he's cloaked in invisibility again. But as he does it, you see dust is whipped up around into a cloud, almost like a cyclone that begins flying off towards the north.
So once he is gone, Clave is going to transform himself into Aeon or Reef, because having been here for such a short time and already encountering somebody, he doesn't trust that just staying in his natural form is good business.
I look over and like just barely with my weird like perception, I could just see like the almost imperceptible drooping happening in your forehead.
And you hear, all of you hear a whispered message coming from the north that says, if you happen to see a lion-headed man, please don't attack him. He is a servant of Neniak Nadom as well. And he has his reasons for what he is doing in the south.
A lion-headed man.
I only
Is
know
he
one
speaking
lion.
of Lucia Rossi?
I only know one lion-headed person.
Does not mean that there aren't others. Tis a strange time.
Well, surely you would recognize your friend if we were to encounter him again. Or if we were to encounter him. I have never personally met him.
I'm sure you would love him.
I have knowing you and the difference between the reality and the stories, I am prepared for disappointment if I were to meet Lucia Rossi.
Chances are he is exactly like the books.
Truly. He is as heroic as he is portrayed.
Yes, he is imbecilic, yes. But he was useful.
Well, I will save my expectations. Though it would be interesting to meet him. So we should proceed now, should we not?
I think so. I have to chew over what I would say to Lucia Rossi to begin with. Be very excited to see me after traveling all this way, I'm sure.
I'll be curious how he would get here so fast.
Well,
If
if he is serving this new person, and clearly his other servant is able to travel quite quickly, there's no reason to think that Lucia Rossi would be beyond this.
Do you know of this being that this false halfling spoke of?
His master. No, I did not recognize the name.
But you did recognize the organization.
You speak of the Dancerar. I am familiar, but my knowledge is very minimal. Would not be helpful. So we are on this plateau. Surely there is some way to descend, or perhaps some secret entrance. Zarius, I assume that you have some sense of what we should do next. Cyrus must have provided you some insights, as well as just transporting us.
Peppery says aloud, well, I know where we are. There are at least 3 different ways to get into the caverns. We're near the southern temple where Gramemphyelis often rests. It makes sense that she might be here. It is typically one of the nicer places for her to go. I imagine, however, if she has been afflicted by some sort of curse, they must have wiped out the priests. We could either try to get in through the temple, which unfortunately, I assume everyone's dead in the temple. There's also a side entrance to the temple that's used for supplies. If there is anyone in the temple, it'd probably be somewhat stealthier to go in that way. Or we could try to find an entrance to the underground river that feeds the lake in the temple. As surely no one would find us if we went in that way. We would have to cross through the playpens, but probably all of the Hydra are dead.
What are the
Playpens.
playpens?
Yes, Gramemphyelis has several Hydra that she keeps as pets, or unfortunately that she used to keep as pets. And so in the underground lake, the Hydra would live and they would play. And the part of them are what we refer to as the playpens, where they typically stayed.
Are Hydra common knowledge?
Yeah, they're pretty famous from the legends.
I would prefer not to chance upon a Hydra, even if the chances that they are all dead. That is not a prospect that I think to be very promising. But
Who's
I
to
do-
say that? Sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead, T-Hole.
And who's to say that one or more of these Hydra are still alive and they're also not afflicted with some sort of curse? I don't need fighting any Hydra liches.
That is a fine point, T-Hole.
If the Hydra are alive, they would know me, Capri says.
Assuming they weren't Hydra liches.
I don't know what a Hydra lich is.
Assuming that they are not afflicted with similar ailments or curses.
Right. Any way we go in, there is a risk of running into someone, some demon or giant or similar creature.
I would be
Any,
keen on the side entrance, as it
perhaps.
doesn't involve potentially afflicted Hydras, and it still is somewhat of a stealthier option.
But if the agents of our enemies are within, and if any one of them get out, they will alert others to our presence.
Well, if it is helpful, it will not keep us from being detected by your patron, but I could, similarly to when we were meeting your kin over Capri, I could make some of us invisible.
We also have to worry about the wards. Typically, Gramemphyelis would know everyone who enters any of her palaces because there are magical sensors that are scattered around around the various rooms. Even in the lake, there is one of the sensors.
Other ways to avoid them.
Or disarm them.
I am sure, like any sort of magic, it could be broken or dispelled.
It might be safe to assume that if we even suppressed it, that she would be aware.
As
She
I
just-
understand it, she wouldn't notice it if one of them were merely dispelled. That you have to move in between them for her to get a sense of where you are and who you are and why you are there.
Are these wards, do you notice when you are in the presence of a ward? Do you feel it's the field of magical energy?
Oh, they are evocation circles that glow with a red light. They're fairly noticeable.
Yeah, it should be easy to avoid it.
There is one by the lake, there is one in the main temple, and then there are several scattered around other rooms.
Are these sensors affixed to anything? Can they be moved?
They're drawn into the ground with runes carved around them. I believe if you could deface the runes and dispel the magic, it probably would shut it down, at least for a time. I don't know if they would reset at some point on their own or not. I've never known anyone to disable any of them, but I have heard it said that it was possible to do so. Gramemphyelis was fairly unconcerned because she has her own ways out, including the ability to just teleport away.
Well, I'm less concerned about your patron detecting us. I'm much more concerned about the other creatures that may still dwell within her lair. Hiding from a dragon is difficult work.
There may be other ways in. However, we'd have to find parts of the cave system, and we'd probably have to wander fairly blindly. I'm sure, obviously, everyone knows about the main temple entrance. Many knew about the supply entrance on the side. Probably no one knows about the entrance through the underground lake.
Perhaps that is our best choice for secrecy then.
It
And
is
as much
difficult-
as we can preserve.
It is difficult for me to move quietly.
Well, if we're in the underground lake, then you could be. There would be less of a need for quiet footfalls.
Yeah, because Xarius doesn't float.
Let me see something.
Well, I think our best bet is either the side entrance or the underground lake. T-Hole's gonna put a stake in the ground.
Silence isn't a wizard spell. Darn it. Nah. I still think it would be better to take the service entrance, but that is my vote, but I will go along with the group.
How limber are you feeling, Xarius?
The same as always.
Maybe it would be easier on Xarius if we just took the main entrance. No one would expect us to walk in through the front door.
This is technically true.
We could divide our forces in two. One group take the side entrance, and the other goes straight in.
The other one takes the underground route.
Right. Break yourselves up into one parties of 1, 1, and 2. And then you can take all 3 entrances in.
Yep.
Got them all covered.
Hashtag Pornhub.
Hey,
I-
at least we'll get the first encounter of all of your all of those entrances, right? Not entirely to waste.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think-
I was saying, Mike, when you were getting your pizza, that I spent a lot of time putting this together, and then I put up like these multiple entrances, and I realized, any one of these they take, they're gonna bypass a bunch of the encounters I put together. Oh, well.
I think our best bet is to stick together. I mean, I expect the resistance, if we meet any, is going to be it might be too much for a subset of our group to handle. I think we'll need our full force, our full strength. So side entrance, serious?
Side or front. They're the ones we know of, at least. We would have to search for the other entrance.
Oh, I know the other entrance.
We would not have to
It's-
search for the other entrance.
I know exactly where we are in relation to that palace. We would have to get down off of this plateau and travel inland a bit, but only about half a mile.
That's your god, Xerius. Which hole do you want to go down?
I mean, we still have the ability to turn into the wind.
I did consider
Perhaps
this,
that should be
yes.
the first step. And then we can very quickly survey the entrances, choose which is best from there.
That will show, we'll see nothing of what's inside the entrance. We only see the outside, which for all we know could be devoid or empty. And
Yes, but
not reveal its true nature.
but if we were to decide to enter as wind, we will be so fast and difficult to see that we could just completely bypass whatever may be within.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be too, because it's clouds. You wouldn't be too difficult to see. Like if a cloud
okay.
starts suddenly flying through your living room, you would notice. A cloud in the sky, a little hard to see, a little hard to notice that that's unusual.
Yeah, but still, if the cloud is going by at like 200 miles an hour, you're going to be lucky to get one hit before they're gone.
Right.
There's a moment of confusion first. Like, what the fuck was that? Before you think, maybe I should hit that.
I mean,
Uh,
it's a valid point. Yeah, I mean, we
can have
should,
rest.
if we wind walk, we just wind walk straight into the underground entrance. And just shoot right up the river.
And that way we don't need to worry about whichever way we go, Zarius's leg hurting.
It only hurts after long walks. It just does not move very well. I still think
But
that
if-
the underground entrance is our best.
if we were to windwalk, I think we can probably get directly into the main audience chamber that Gramemphyelis usually uses. I don't know if she would be there in this case, but presumably the gods brought us here because she's somewhere in the palace. Beyond that, I don't know, as there are doors.
Right, well,
We can
And
squeeze
maybe-
through places.
Nope, there's no
Maybe-
squeezing. We
Maybe-
established the spell doesn't say squeeze, so no squeeze.
I still like think of the gaseous, like of gaseous. So why wouldn't
Right,
I be able to fucking squeeze? Yeah.
Gaseous form says you can squeeze, but
Can I
not
gaseous
windwalk.
form then cloud walk us?
That is an interesting theoretical question.
better get Crawford
Yep.
on the.
If we time like
Yeah,
Clave learns the gaseous form and like can upcast it to get everybody, and then we just time it to where our spells go off at the same time. I think we could do this, guys.
even with gaseous form, I think it's probably like 1 inch worth of
Yeah.
room you need. So my
Yeah.
doors just got slightly bigger. To close that 1 inch.
It's an old fucking temple. There's no way. Actually,
So-
there probably is a way. Like I think those old like Egyptian tombs are pretty fucking sealed up.
Was it discussed last session, like just what we're going to do when we meet? Neither.
You're funny.
It's like, yeah, we.
Whoa,
Going-
slow down.
Peppery says we're going to save her.
So let me get this straight. We get through, we somehow manage to bypass whatever is in the way, and we get to the main room, the audience chamber. She's in there. And then we just say, we're coming to save you. Are we going to fight her, or try to exorcise her, or draw a consecration? I don't know. That's more of a Zarius thing. Like, do you have some sort of save your patron deity spell, Zarius?
I have a couple of things I can try.
Like, what should we do? Like, what is our goal once we get there besides saving her?
I am hopeful that hoping that she has some of her faculties and is not immediately hostile, perhaps angry. But
If we end up having to engage in combat,
we will die.
how will yeah.
Peppery says, if you had any objections, you should have said so yesterday.
You know, I was taken with the buffet, you know.
And that bathtub was divine.
Kepri, there are just some things that are worth putting everything else on hold for, and buffets and bathtubs are two of them.
That's gonna be T-Hole's hotel that he starts up, buffets and bathtubs.
At the same time.
Right. They
Yeah.
put you in a bathtub on wheels and they wheel you up to the buffet.
It's a mobile buffet. Everything's on wheels.
Yep.
Well, if the goal is to find your patron and just see what see what the scene is like when we get there, that's fine. I was just wondering if we had anything up our sleeve that we were going to try when we got there, or any sort of angle we should take, like us distracting while Zarius, but you do your thing. Or,
Well, if we wanted to investigate before going to her audience chamber, perhaps we shouldn't use the underground river. The
Mm,
side entrance leads to the kitchen. The kitchen and the temple for the humanoids.
we can at least use our cloud form to get some form of eyes on what might be inside. See if we could determine exactly what it is that has taken influence over this place. We could, one is assuming demons, but sometimes that isn't always right. We should assume nothing. Let us examine. Let us go look into the main hall. We go look, then we return here.
sounds good. Lead the way.
And I grab the beads and concentrate on the specific one that has that spell energy within it. And
Mhm. So you cast Windwalk, you're going to the main entrance?
I mean, that's what I said. I guess
Yep.
people will do what they do, but
Zarius is T-hole's following Zarius.
Yeah, Clave will do the same.
All right.
Clave is just
So,
wanting to get on with it.
so you essentially just have to fly down off the top of the mesa as you were essentially put right above the main entrance to these underground chambers. In the side of the mesa, almost as soon as you come over the top, you could see there is an encampment around a gigantic stone arch. And inside the archway, there are two enormous golden doors covered in symbols. The encampment is almost entirely of humans, halflings, gnomes, half elves, and a few dwarves. Everyone, I guess, can make me a perception check. So Zarius and T-hole, you would be able to pick out as you're observing these people that many of them appear to be just as if they might be mercenaries, but all of them occasionally flash symbols that you would recognize as being related to the cult of Vecna.
okay. How many?
Probably about 100.
100 people?
Yes.
Okay. And that's
I mean,
inside
yeah,
or
and you would,
outside?
that this is outside the golden doors. The doors to the main entrance are shut. It doesn't look like you could find a way through them until they're opened. You'd have to wait for somebody to open them.
Hmm.
I mean, you can see amongst the group of people, occasionally a group will come in, a group of, maybe 10 or 15 people will come in, and then another group will go out. Mostly like into the plains extending out to the east in front of you.
Does it look like this encampment is set up? Does it look like they're laying siege at all? Or does it
No,
look like,
they're at ease here.
okay,
And then they're intermittently going in and coming out.
Not of the temple. They're going in and coming out of the camp.
Oh, okay.
Going in and coming out, like what direction?
Just generally to the east.
Well,
I mean, unless you want to spend time like following some of them to see which direction they're going, it just seems like there's a ravine that comes in from the west, from these fertile plains that go to the east. So you basically just see them coming in and out, but there's really only one direction for them to go at this point. They may veer off when they get out of the ravine.
well, I'm just gonna say it. I have 7 fireballs. We can rain death down upon them.
Well, you can't say it because we're in cloud form, but
Well, I can telepathically say it.
The mesa
about
itself
that
is about 350 feet high. You'd have to find some other perch to rain fireballs down.
Or I could just cast fly.
There you go.
if you could reach them, that means some of them are likely to be able to reach you. And you're one. And there are many of them.
T-Hole cannot respond because he does not have the ability to speak telepathically.
Well, you can as long as I'm focusing on you. So
Oh,
So you won't be able to speak because he'll never focus
Tell
on
the, I'll say, tell the others that we should examine the side entrance now.
all right. So Clave will
I
relay
like
that.
I like the stealthy approach of raining fireballs on everyone outside.
let's take.
Yeah, he's like, oh, only 100 people? I've got a bunch of fireballs. I mean, I do have a pretty powerful spell prepared in Divine Word. You make them weak enough, we can fuck them up. But it's only a 30 foot, so like I'd have to get them all around me.
So how
He's-
broad a search are you doing to like watch what these people are up to? Because most of them
mean-
are within about 100 yards of the main entrance. The ravine itself, though, extends out about a quarter mile.
I guess, you know, T-Hole would be, wouldn't be opposed to conspicuously heading down to the end of the ravine to see which direction, if they're like turning away or if they're heading east.
Yeah, and perhaps how big are these groups? Are they happen to be groups of 4 or 5?
They're mostly groups of 10 or 15.
Okay, crap.
I mean, if we're high enough up, we should kind of be able to tell, like, roughly where they're going.
Well, because so you can see like one of the groups is just heading east.
Mhm.
One of the other groups disappears. You think they've turned south, but they're now, behind the rock wall of the ravine.
Oh, I see. Okay.
You
Okay.
also see that there's some other encampment or at least large collection of creatures outside the ravine.
Like beasts
Like-
of burden, or
You'd have to get closer to make out what they are. They're not probably not horses. They're probably, man-sized.
okay. We can have a look at that. Sure.
So you can see it's various sorts of smaller demons. None of them look to be especially powerful. And probably the mercenaries could take on a number of them, but there's at least 1,000.
Don't have enough fireballs for them.
Plus they're demons, they'd be immune. So I'd like for us to go examine the side entrance.
Yeah.
I think we probably have to have Kepri direct us towards that.
All right, so flying out of the ravine, you head north. And to the north, you see there is a little, it's not exactly a footpath. I mean, it is a paved road, but it is only about 10 feet wide. And it comes in from a different part of the plane. You don't see anyone around it. But it flies up to a much smaller entrance, not the giant, the golden doors were 25 feet tall. This leads up to essentially a set of 10 by 10 double doors that appear to be made of just probably iron.
Anybody near it?
You don't see anybody.
This seems promising.
Yeah, I mean, I'll start flying in a little close.
So you could make it all the way up to the doors. You realize that the doors are really more wood, but they're iron bound.
They're closed.
And yeah, you still don't see anybody.
Time to
They
hack
look,
through this
they
door.
look pretty disused, actually, like nobody's been using them.
I'll just start to reform.
So you take a minute and you reform. Is anybody else reforming or just him?
Clabe will wait to see if there's any immediate reaction to him kind of just standing there.
So there isn't. You reform in front of the doors.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll do a quick examination of the door, I guess, just to be sure nothing's weird about it.
Give me an investigation check.
I'm not very good at those.
Nope, everything's fine.
Perfect. Is
Either
anybody
that or-
reformed yet?
Yeah.
I don't want to open it
yeah,
until
No,
there's
I
somebody
would-
else with me.
especially if Zarius is doing it, I would also do some investigating. Do you want me to roll?
Yeah,
There.
you can see very faintly etched into the door is a glyph that goes across the set of double doors.
Can I use Arcana to try and discern what it is?
Yes.
It's red, right?
It is not red. It is essentially colorless, but it's been carved in pretty shallowly, like it's pretty fine work to make it nearly invisible. So you're pretty sure it's a glyph of warding, but you don't necessarily know what it's going to do if someone triggers it.
Be careful, there is a glyph in the door. Seems to be a glyph of warding, but I do not know what will happen if it's triggered, or by what means it is triggered.
T-hole will kind of take a finer look at it and see that it's and kind of inspect it after you point it out. And he says, well, the glyph seems to be written across both doors. One would surmise that it would be triggered when they're opened. And the glyph is broken. I think we probably want to dispel this if we were going to go in through this entrance.
that is what we wish to do, I will do that. Unless you have this ability. Look at a clave.
No, I do not. Um,
We also do not need to use this entrance. Clearly, there's a force of the cult of Vecna here.
yes, but still, we are here to find your patron. We can do so without getting their attention, then so be it, but I doubt that given the number of the cult here, don't see that it's very feasible.
Was this side entrance like really hidden? Was it obvious coming over here that you really had to know where you were going to find it?
It's not that well hidden. But it, it is probably the pathway that leads here is about half a mile away. You could easily walk past here without having noticed it if you didn't know it was here.
Right,
But, if you got super close to the pathway, you would have found it.
right.
Actually, so Glyph of Warding is a spell that clerics can get, so I would have some sort of knowledge of it. And I would look to Kepri and just ask, is there a passphrase? Was this here previously, to your knowledge? This glyph.
I never had to use this entrance. I assume there are magics protecting all parts of the temple, but they never bothered me. I never needed a passphrase.
Was there like a phrase amongst my people by chance that would be used to, like, in reference some, or like a sort of reverent chant almost towards the patron?
Sure, if you want to invent one.
I probably would just involve the whole interconic, like, praise Gramemphyelis, beloved to Isis, the chain.
So intraconic, her name is much simpler and shorter to say. So
Yeah.
yeah, you can utter that.
I would, just to see if maybe that's the password.
I mean, somebody still carved something into the door. It's not obvious. Like there's no glowing magic about this glyph.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if
I'm
it's a
just
glyph
gonna
of warding,
take
I just know glyph of warding. That's a trait of glyph of warding. Like, the person who casts the spell may bestow a passphrase
Right.
to bypass it.
Clave is gonna slowly back away in case it's an explosive glyph of warding. And Zarius decides to try and trust his phrase enough to open it.
I don't know. I just assumed that there would be some noticeable change.
Not that you could see. It wouldn't be a great glyph if it like glowed and then the glow went away when you said a passphrase. Like,
Isn't it kind of strange if there's nobody here?
It is strange.
They drove out anybody who would come here. Anybody who does know of this entrance is probably gone.
Yeah, but why wouldn't,
Or-
you mean they've got all those soldiers hanging out at the front? You would think they would have investigated all around here and found this place. It's kind of
But didn't
strange that they're,
it didn't look like
Unless
they
they
were
couldn't go
guarding.
in.
Didn't look like they were guarding the front door. They
Right.
were You're camping out.
Right, but even in that scenario, I mean, why wouldn't you, if you were camping out and checking this place out, you would search all the way around?
I mean, it is possible that they tried to open the door. Or gain access inside and died in the attempt. And so they don't spend time here.
Or they put this glyph on the door.
Right. You at least don't see like bodies strewn about. So they probably didn't just get blown up right here.
Most difficult thing to encounter in D&D. A door.
A door.
He's had to put a door. At least in these two entrances.
Not just a door, it's an obviously marked door.
Well, I don't.
Not that
Almost
obvious. He
obvious.
rolled a 26 on his investigation check.
I would, this isn't really my area of expertise per se, but I'd imagine that our options are to either try to dispel the glyph or this warding, or to attempt to deface it in such a way that it renders it inert.
Which was likely to, if you do not do it correctly, is likely to trigger it.
Right. Or we third time's the charm and we go to the cave entrance.
Maybe I can discern what is embedded within this glyph. If you just grant me time, I'll sort of take a couple steps away and just start chanting. Take 10 minutes here. You can cast detect magic.
So you cast detect magic. There is an abjuration spell on the door.
Yeah. Obviously that's there.
You can, I guess, make me a religion check.
I'm not very good at religion. That's an intelligence score. That's an intelligence roll. Yeah, all right.
So you are pretty sure that if something triggers these runes, there will be an explosion of fire.
Okay.
And you would also know that it's not just a passphrase. You could set any sort of condition you want on
Right.
who could bypass the door. So you could say like redheads on Thursdays won't trigger this.
Right.
And then a redhead going through it wouldn't dispel it. They would just pass through it normally without incident. And then the next person to come along might still trigger it. So your passphrase might work.
Passphrase might work. It might be because I'm the, current top, in line for Sultanate, for being the Sultan. Maybe being that sort of royalty would just grant me access.
Right. I mean, somebody could set it to say, Dragonborn won't trigger the runes.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I obviously can't tell specifically which one it is, so it will explode. This is tell everybody.
So the body theory, the dead body theory is still in play, because if they came to investigate the door, tried to open it, exploded in fiery bursts, they could have just incinerated.
There is another problem here. If we trigger the door and it explodes, then it surely will draw attention.
Like I said, I can attempt to dispel this, or we could take the other underground route.
I think attempting to dispel it would be the best option.
I agree.
Kepri would say, well, but if they've set one glyph and these, how long do these glyphs last? Because if it's a long time, then there are other doors in this complex. They could have cast glyphs on all of them. Are we gonna dispel at every door we see?
They will last until they are dispelled.
I mean, that would be a problem regardless of entrances. I mean, we could run into glyphs and we can run into glyphs going through the cave as we get out of the cave and into the main palace.
I think we need to worry about the problem that's in front of us before we worry about the problems ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that yes, I agree.
I would ask Kepri, would Our Lady have sky access? Should she desire to fly?
I assume she does, but I don't know those tunnels.
Were there many doors in the underground route to get to the location, to get to her?
Not to get to the audience hall. There's no doors between the lake and the audience hall because that's where she goes to play with the Hydra, where she went to play with the Hydra. But then there are doors out leading into and out of the audience chamber.
I still think that is our best route.
It's your show, Zarius.
Then let us go there.
So you turn back into your misty form. And following Kepri, she leads you up and over the mesa and pretty far to the west before descending into a gully between it's a pretty broad, there's a pretty broad flat surface in the gully, and you see she leads you to what appears to be a small cave. You can hear a sound that's of rushing water coming from the cave, although it's very faint. And she flies in. So who can see in the dark? Because it's very dark in there.
Clave can.
T-Hole would spend a Kai point. A Kai point to put his visage on so we could see in the dark.
Yeah, I've got dark vision.
Can you do that in cloud form?
Yeah, you would have to probably stop,
Oh,
change
yeah.
back.
So no, yeah, never mind. He cannot see. He's flying blind.
We can take a quick stop because I can't see shit either. So
So
Clave,
you
I
all,
can't see.
Kepri
right.
flies back out.
was reform just like close to the dark, but not like all the way out.
Well, yeah, so this cave, this entrance she's let you to it, it's not very big. Like people will have to crawl to get through the cave entrance to get inside. It does widen up once you're inside, but the mouth of this cave it's way big enough for Kepri, but it's pretty small for the rest of you. It's about halfling sized.
But in our cloud form, way easier.
Right. Cloud form, you can squeeze enough to get into a halfling sized opening.
Yeah. It seems like it is getting dark in here.
Yep, it's a cave.
I know there's a
Uh,
relic you can see.
So, in a bit of annoyance, Clave, he motions and draws some of his shadow into his between the tips of his thumb and his forefinger, and he kind of rubs his fingers together, and then he touches Zarius's forehead, and the shade kind of leaks off in droplets into his eyes, coating them in a blackness. But Zarius, you can now see in the dark.
I would probably motion for you to wait.
What?
Perhaps do this on someone else. I will attempt a different spell.
Feels like I can't see shit when flying.
Well, if you activate your visage while you're in your normal form, and then you go into the gas form, does T-Hole have the dark vision then?
I mean, I would rule yes, but doesn't that last like 10 minutes?
I don't know how long is the trek through this cave? Asking Capri.
Probably be an hour.
Yeah, the visage lasts 10 minutes. Also, it's kind of brightly glowing, so it would not, we would be it would be easier to be spotted, having a brightly glowing cloud flying through.
Then
So then I would just then take the same energy.
just perhaps if it's going to take an hour to get through, we just create a light, which I can do.
Wait, we are trying to be stealthy. That was the whole conversation, that we're trying to be stealthy. And now we're just going to light the way and be reckless. We've gone through 2 doors already. 2.
We've gone through no doors.
No, but we've passed up 2. 2 possible entrances. And now, because we are
Multi-insurmountable.
trying to be
I just
stealthy
can't-
and unseen.
I just can't not picture the Count from Sesame Street. Two doors.
Now all of a sudden we are being reckless and allowing the enemy to see us easily.
How many
I
times
am-
can you cast the spell?
I mean, last 8 hours. So that's good.
Then let us do this.
With an action
Mine-
point, I'll let
mine
you
will
cast it
only
once,
last an
4 hours
hour.
each.
No, that's fine. I'll just cast it twice. So then just continuing to save the spell energy and then bringing it into the other hand. I touched 2 of you on your foreheads, and you have dark vision now. But your eyes look black as they're covered in my shadow.
Yeah, I looked at
thank
the
you.
duration of the. I was looking at True Sight, and the duration is an hour. I'm like, ah, shit. I don't want to waste a True Sight just for going through a fucking cave. Wait till we get a little further through, then I'll use it.
So
Alright.
you transform back into shadow and fly through the cave, able to see because of dark vision. You very shortly do come upon an underground river in a fairly large passage it's carved out. And it winds through the rock, going through several stages where it just falls into deeper and deeper caverns below. Following it, you eventually see that it opens up into what is in front of you, a wide underground lake. And everybody make me a con save.
Yeah, I'm gonna action point that.
And Kepri also has to make a con save.
Is fucking tiny.
Oh, wow.
So as you're flying, you all begin to feel a sense of something that is resisting your forward motion. Eventually, it starts to become almost a little painful, but you're able to push through it. Except that Aurelia and Clave both find themselves on the ground reforming into their physical bodies.
Wow, so just missed it.
Right. Or yeah. Pretty much, yeah. T-hole's fine.
So once we reform, do we notice anything else?
No, the pain and the pressure seem like they go away once you've reformed.
And if I try to reform into wind, does it?
It's not
Am I able
letting you.
to?
No.
So I'm going to telepathically alert Zarius and T-hole and Kepri to mine and Aurelia's current condition.
So what are the three
Teal
of you
turned
doing?
back. Teal turned back.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, turn back for now.
But it won't like, you'll turn back, like, so Teal's gonna turn back and go to that spot that they're at. But not get out of windwalk form. And just like wait there and be and wait there and be like, can you move?
Yes, we can move. We just can no longer summon the magic that allows us to turn into the wind.
As if it were dispelled, perhaps.
Likely the runes and spell work that are used to protect this cavern.
How many charges a day does our the beads of walking have?
One.
You could do that once a day.
What's the duration? It's 8 hours usually.
Yep.
So
We're at maybe an hour, hour and a half, something like that.
There's an hour of flying through the caves, so that's true. I wasn't accounting for the speed at which you fly through the cave.
Yeah.
So it's probably actually been less than an hour.
I just figured like fly, examine the group of people, fly up to the other place, then fly into the caves. Yeah.
So telepathically, I would say, all right, let's continue to proceed.
So are the three
Be
of you
quiet.
staying in your windwalk form?
I don't think it's. It takes too long to reform. We should be prepared. Not that these two cannot transform back.
It's fair. T-hole will start coalescing in all his glory.
Perhaps it would be good for Capri to remain in her wind form and scout ahead.
Unless this happens again and then she's pulled out of it. Away from us. We may not necessarily need to scout. As she does know these caves.
Now I'm trying to see why I can't see everybody on my map.
I see like, yeah, oh, there we go. There's everybody.
I don't know if this radius of this torch is right. Yeah, that's right. Just to represent the dark vision.
I can see.
Yeah, I couldn't. I dragged the torch out.
Remove that for a second. Let me just check everybody's dark vision. I know some of you aren't set up for dark vision.
Yeah, T-hole wouldn't be.
Okay. So you are at the top of a waterfall. It is about a 30-foot drop ahead of you. Some of you could have reformed at the bottom of the waterfall if you wanted to.
Of course.
Still can. How far down is the waterfall?
Fall's about 30 feet.
Well,
My roll 20 just crashed.
does it look like there's a safe way of being able to descend?
You'd have to climb, or, fly or something.
Okay. Well,
I'd ask Kepri if this is the chamber where the hydras would be.
Not right here, just in front of us. I mean, sometimes they swim out this far, I guess. But normally they'd be in the playpen, which is further to the north.
I'm gonna use my Cowl of the Arcanist to attempt to cast Fly on myself.
Okay.
Oh.
I see this thing way out here.
All right, so I rolled a 16 on my check.
Yeah, you notice that there is particularly Zarius would notice that there is a pale glow coming from underneath the water up ahead.
Once I cast Fly on myself, I would then offer to carry Aurelia down.
We'll just take a couple of minutes to go cloud and reform down here. And then ask Kepri if she knows what that is. That strange light.
No, I don't think I've ever seen it before. But
Does
you all make
appear
it, you can all make it down.
All right. Teal would probably just jump down.
Yeah.
Sweat off your ass.
So there is a narrow shoreline that seems to lead around the lake.
So once I put Aurelia down, Clave would continue to remain aloft above, probably about 30 feet.
Okay, yeah, I should have said the cavern is about, at this point, after you come down off of the waterfall, the cavern's about 50 feet tall, so you can easily fly at 30 feet.
Okay. Um, is there anything that we can discern from our position about this glowing thing beneath the water?
Only that it's probably pretty deep in the pool ahead of you, because the glow is coming out under the water. You can see like vines and vegetation seem to be growing in the water and the light is filtering through them. But that's all. You don't see anything else.
Jeffrey, which way is it towards? I mean, which direction are we traveling?
Well, the audience chamber would be mostly north, but a little bit east. The first of the wards is north, and I think actually due north of where we are now.
So
It's on
Clave's,
the far side of the lake.
Clave's curiosity is really piqued by this glowing thing under the waves. And knowing that this is a dragon's lair, figuring that that might be some kind of powerful magic item. And so would Clave expect that his fly spell would also help him swim beneath the water?
Yeah, you could move. I mean, you can't breathe, but you can move through the water using the fly spell. It would slow you down. You'd be like half speed trying to push through the water,
Okay.
but that's half your fly speed through the water.
Right, which is better than 30 feet is better than 15. So yeah, I'd probably take a big gulp of air and dive down.
Okay, so
Just do it. You don't tell anybody.
Uh
so
I mean,
move your
before he went, he might go, look at me.
Whee! So you can move yourself out there.
Okay.
I just look at him
So,
like,
you can't actually see the source of the glow from above the water. The water is a little too green for that.
Mhm.
Also, you're not really sure how deep it is. I mean, it's, because you can see the glow, you're guessing it's not like hundreds of feet, but it could be 30, you don't know.
Mhm. Okay, so yeah, Clave is gonna dive down and try and to see if he can reach the glow to see what it is.
Okay. So as you dive down, you really have to fight to push through the weeds as the vegetation underneath the surface of the water is pretty thick.
Mhm.
But going down, you immediately notice that the glow is coming from a longsword. You could see the remains of what looks to be chainmail. It's pretty rusted and in bad shape. You don't really see anything in the way of like bones, but it does appear as though like maybe a body fell here. But you can see there's various bits of equipment scattered around. So give me an investigation check.
Theoretically, I'm good at these, but I've been rolling like shit.
You can see pretty clearly there's this long sword that's glowing. There's a rotted leather pouch that you can see some gemstones are falling out of. There's what you imagine might be, it's just leather gauntlets. But they are not rotted. They are in pristine condition. So you're thinking
Mhm.
they might be magical.
Okay. Can I grab all of these things in one go?
You probably can't, if you try to grab the gems, they'll just fall out of the rotting pouch. So you
Okay.
probably can't grab all of those, but you could grab the sword and the gauntlets.
Okay. So then I'll do that then. And then attempt to swim, fly my way back up over the water.
Right. So you pick up the gauntlet and the sword and look back up towards the surface. Again, you have the light of the sword to guide you pretty much, and then your own dark vision beyond that. But what you see when you look up is it looks like the vines are closer than you would have expected. And roll me an athletics check as they are trying to wrap themselves around you.
Can I do acrobatics? It's not much better, but slightly.
No, this is
Okay.
athletics.
All right.
I was gonna give you some enhance ability too. You just took off.
Yikes. Okay, hold on.
Good luck.
Um, so. All right, I'm gonna use an action point to re-roll that.
So you are grappled, and the vines are drawing you back up. Not as fast as you would have flown, but they are moving you back up. But they don't return you to the surface. They return you to the big mass of the vines that's about 10 feet under the surface of the water, where they are just continuing to snake around you.
Okay. So I am going to cast
Well, before you do that, what's your con?
10.
Okay. Because I have to remember what the suffocation rules are.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is you can hold your breath for more than a minute. But if you're going to be casting spells, if they have verbal components,
Yeah.
that's going to go down to you're not holding your breath anymore.
Is this visible? Like, do we see this
You saw him
happening?
you saw him fly into the water. That's it. It's not,
So
you don't see like a struggle. He's still 10 feet down.
how far are these vines away from me?
Well, they're wrapped around you now, and you're about 10 feet below the surface.
Okay, so they're just holding me just below the surface.
Right. I mean, you could feel like there are thorns on these vines.
Mm-hmm.
And as they wrap around you more and more, they're clearly piercing you with these thorns. Not causing damage at this point, but over time it probably would. But your guess is they're trying to drown you. And you would be aware if you cast a spell, you essentially have one round before you start drowning after that.
Yeah.
And then you realize this might be how the guy in the chainmail armor died too.
So
And Zarius has so completely given up on you that Tony left. He's just not here anymore.
all right. So there's only one thing that I can think to do. And let me just make sure that. Yeah, so I am going, realizing I'm running out of air anyways, and that these things are stronger than me. I am going to attempt to cast a spell with a verbal component. So I'm going to cast telekinesis and try to use the strength of that spell to rip the vines away from me.
Okay, so roll me initiative.
Okay.
Oh, we don't really need the turn order. So you go first. They
Okay.
basically go into one. So you cast the spell. It's been a while since I read this spell. So what are you trying to do with the spell?
I'm trying to use the telekinetic force to rip the vines away from me.
Thinking of Bigby's hand, and then I realized this is a slightly different spell. So make me an athletics check, but with intelligence rather than strength. And you can add your proficiency bonus if you're not already proficient.
Okay. So then that would be 5 and 5, so it's plus 10. So
So you are able to rip the vines away, and you are free for the moment.
okay. Can I use the telekinesis to lift myself up out or at least help propel me onto the land?
So I mean, I would say that was probably your action to with the telekinesis to rip the vines away. You still have your
Okay.
move, and you could still fly.
No, because the telekinesis is a concentration. Fly is
oh, okay.
concentration.
So you could
So-
swim to the still of your move, you could swim to the surface and have 5 feet of movement. But 5 feet of movement wouldn't get you very far away from the vines, which are really scattered throughout this pool.
Okay. So then yeah, I would get up to the surface and then I would yell, "Help!"
Oh, boy.
So I'm gonna move you out to where about you are, which is up here. So the rest of you see him say help. Here.
Oh, that's where it was. I thought for some reason I thought that the thing was here.
No, it was up
glowing. I
further.
didn't see it up there.
Yeah, let me examine my options here, I guess.
So everybody roll initiative, I guess. Select your token and roll initiative.
Will do. Damn. T-hole really wanted to go first.
Yeah, but look at that. Look at mine.
Oh,
So Clave just went, Zarius, it's your turn, but then the vines go.
Well, hold on, I'm still looking here. It's not like I can swim. So. And he's way out there.
Since he didn't know where it was, we'll say he's actually here.
uh, I don't think there's anything I can fucking do. This is not a moment where any cleric utility spells are going to be of any use.
I don't see anybody's token except my own.
That's because nobody
Yeah.
has a real light source. You're near a light. They might be out of the range of your dark vision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's true. You are past my own circle. You're just in the light of the other thing.
I mean, now you can see he has that light on him.
Right. Well, since we're all just doing lights, I guess, at least for now, I'll just cast light. Just like on my staff, just so we can have a beacon. Swim this way. I don't know what's going on. I can't swim. There's no way. It's not happening.
Good thing T-Hole can walk on water if he needs to.
Okay. That's it.
Okay. So you can see the vines begin to move underneath the surface of the water, and they snake their way up and try to grab your leg. So make me another athletics check. You could use your telekinesis to fight them off.
Okay.
So you're pretty easily able to push them away.
Okay.
And T-Hole, it's your turn.
T-Hole's going to do Step of the Wind to get movements and use the dash action. And that will get me all the way to where Clave is at. That's, not being says, once you stop moving on the water, I think you also fall in. You just don't like stay standing on the
No,
water.
right. No, because it's the way it works is you're not considered to have stopped at the end of your turn. It's because it's not really that you go and then you stop and let someone else go. As long as you continue moving at the start of your next turn, you're fine.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I would just do circles around Clave as my movement action, just to keep going, like Aang or
Right.
something.
Quick, grab my hand. Grab my hand. Grab my hand.
But I'm gonna get to Clave and try to like pull him up. And like do my best to like try to yank him towards the water.
So that would be an action.
Yeah, because I moved as my bonus action for dash.
okay.
I use Step of the Wind. And
Okay, so make me an athletics check.
Yep. I feebly grab you, Clave.
You feel his hand is all wet and slimy. You're like, eh.
Oh, he's clammy. Well, I guess that's all I can do.
Aurelia.
Hmm. So I guess we can kind of see T-hole out there.
And you can see Clave bobbing at the surface
Okay.
of the water.
Hmm. So got a short bow. I'm going to take my short bow out and just have it ready in case something comes, and look in either direction to make sure if I see anything approaching, I can take a shot at it.
Okay. Clave.
I'm gonna grab onto T-hole.
Okay. So you can make me an athletics check then to see if you can haul yourself out and up onto him.
Well, to make it easier for him to potentially grab me at least, I'm going to use my bonus action to shift into a halfling.
Okay. Anything else?
Uh,
But you
No.
shift in the wrong direction and your head goes down instead of your feet coming up.
So you see he transforms from a honorreef into a much smaller halfling. Zarius.
I literally nothing I could do out here.
You can wave your light around.
Yeah.
Swim this way.
No, this way. Yeah, there's nothing that works here. It's like looking at if Kepri had anything that might be useful. Not in this specific instance. So there's of all of my spells, there's 2 of them that can reach. Or wait, hold on, actually, some of them. How far out are you? Yeah, no, 2 of them that can reach. We have the good old guiding bolt. And a dispel magic. So,
please don't shoot me with guiding bolt.
But you'll get advantage on your.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. T-hole ran off, so I can't do any cool spells on him either. So, yeah, that's me. I don't know what Aurelia has, but
So before the vines go again, Teal and Clave, make me a perception check. So Teal, you become aware that in the light of this sword, and it's hard for your dark vision can only make out just the surface of the water is basically just black. But through the light, you can see just at the edges of the light of the sword that the halfling is carrying, something very large is moving underneath the vines.
Clave, I think there's something beneath you. We may
Get me
have,
out of here. Get me out of here.
So, and the vines are gonna reach up. You can see the vines are moving under you, T-hole, but they don't seem to, even though your foot is like touching the surface of the water. They're not focused on you at all. There are a lot of vines. They stretch through a lot of the area of this portion of the pool. But they don't seem to be aware of you while you're on the surface. They are, however, aware of the halfling. So they try again to wrap around the feet of the halfling. So Clave, make me another athletics check with your telekinesis.
Bam.
So yeah, you are very easily able to avoid them that time. And it's T-hole's turn.
Teal is going to do the same thing where he tries to pick up Tiny Clave.
So you can roll athletics with advantage this time. You are
Oh, okay.
easily able to scoop her out of the water.
And then for I will burn another Kai point to do Step of the Wind, and let's see. Will I be moving half speed since I'm carrying?
I don't imagine she weighs enough to like over encumber you, so you can move full speed.
Okay, that's weird. Yeah, definitely make it back with that. So I'll run back. I would start running and then see Zarius. Oh, I guess I would see Zarius because he was in my dark vision. So I'd see the
Have a
party
light.
and the light, that too.
So you see
And-
T-hole carries back this halfling with her glowing longsword.
There's
And-
we have company under the water. Saw something very large moving.
Where's
We're gonna
Clave?
want
What is this one?
Something large. I am Clave.
this is half Clave.
I did this to make it easier for you. Look at me.
The vine's got the other half.
I will snuff out the light.
Hey,
Okay.
I did find a cool sword and some leather gauntlets. Hopefully it was worth it.
I hope
Sword is still
so.
glowing.
Let's get away from the large pool. Anyways, maybe perhaps move back either towards the waterfall, or it looks like there's a river away to the east.
So you do hear out somewhere in the lake, beyond the limit of your dark vision. I mean, it sounds sort of like half screech, half moan, and some splashing. Sort of an.
That's kind of like how my cat meows.
I was kind of like look to Kepri. Is this normal? Is this?
I've never heard that before. Is it normal for you?
No.
So hear me out, guys. I know that this probably caused a whole issue and we might have to fight something really big and bad, but I just want to point out this is exactly how we got Celastri.
Yeah, but nobody here uses a sword.
Doesn't mean it
I
can't be
mean-
useful.
T-hole uses swords.
I guess technically he can.
I mean,
Is it a long sword or a short sword?
it's a long sword.
Yeah, that's no good for you.
You would notice that this longsword is actually pretty exquisite.
It's a fucking Holy Avenger and shit. Holy Avenger that
Right.
was useless against seaweed.
It doesn't necessarily look like it's dedicated to anyone's god. But it is a very fine longsword, possibly the best any of you have ever seen. The gauntlets, you can see now that you have them out of the water and under the light of the sword, have a little ogre motif running through the metal plates on the back. Because those vines are so strong that even a guy wearing gauntlets of ogre power drowned. DC 15 was what you were trying to beat.
All right.
You should tell Zarius that there are gems down there.
Serious, there are gems down there. Hey, so we should probably get a move on. And then until we are somewhere safe where we can examine the sword, can I wrap it in something? Like, let me see if I have anything to wrap it in.
I mean, the moment you start thinking that you want to get rid of the light, the sword de-illuminates.
Oh, excellent. Oh, well, isn't that useful?
God, you're too bright. It just dims. Thanks. Can you talk? You're a halfling though, so you barely hold this fucking sword.
It's like as long as I am tall.
So let's get away from the center of the pool. Or whatever this body of water is.
Yeah, we should probably get going. We don't know what else is down there.
So I think Teal's gonna move to kind of head this way.
So you see there is a murky little side channel. The water coming from here is distinctly darker and dirtier. And Kepri says, I have no idea where this leads.
It's weird. I feel like everybody's token is transparent and mine is not.
That's
Yeah.
what I see.
Yep.
Right. It's because everybody's in dim light because it's dark vision.
You gave me full on normal vision. I could see everybody normally.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I'll fiddle with it later.
It's not mattered too much. It's not like I'm going in the water, so.
Right. So Kepri says, yeah, if we want to go to the audience hall, we have to go north. I don't know where this channel is coming from.
Okay. So Clave is then going to use her telekinesis to lift everybody over the river to get to the other side. Like right here.
Okay.
Well, that'll be useful. How long does that last?
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's hurry that up.
Yeah.
Everybody
we'll
can feel
continue.
free to move yourselves.
Yeah. Teal's gonna be, moving as fast as he can, but like trying to avoid heavy footfalls. So not quite sneaking, but avoiding making too much noise.
It's a shame there's no mechanic for that. Normal movement and stealth.
And Kemper
So-
says, no, I don't think this one is it either. This side channel is, it's a bit cleaner than the other one. But it's a little bit murky. The lake water in general is cleaner than whatever's coming out of this side channel, but it is flowing into the lake.
All right. And so I'll start lifting people up over to get to this side.
And you again hear another moan and splash. This time coming, I mean, the last one was probably to the south of where you are now, but whatever it is, maybe has moved further north.
There's a light.
Telepathically, I would say, I think it's following us.
There's a light.
Ooh, and it looks red.
Pimple.
And that would be the Kepri says that would be the other, the magic ward.
Do you know if there's a certain distance?
I think they work together to protect the entire palace. But I was told once that it's moving between any two of them that lets the dragon know that someone has entered the space. And Gramemphyelis could like read their minds and like knew a lot of details about them. So I don't know if we've already crossed the line between that one and the other ones. Maybe. This would be the one that's most furthest west. So probably.
Well, let's be honest, we weren't gonna really be successful trying to hide from a dragon.
Our intentions are pure, at least.
Or so we believe.
Well,
What are you supposed to mean?
Well, if your dragon patron can read our intentions, then as long as we believe we have good intentions, that's all that matters.
Teal's gonna start heading further north.
So as you get to a narrowing of the river, you can see the lake. The lake is beginning to flow out pretty fast where you are into an upper lake. But Kepri says, no, this is it. This is the play pool. So go around the bend.
You don't need to cross the river here.
Nope. We need to go down and south and then we'll walk around the pool.
All right. T-Hole is just gonna, he's just gonna, as we're taking directions from Kepri,
As you get there,
Yeah.
something happens. So everybody stop moving. But what are you saying?
I was gonna say, as he's taking directions from Kepri, and he's just like kind of relying on his navigation.
Mhm.
T-Hole's gonna, he takes a moment and narrows his eyes. he's starting to wonder whether or not Kepri is like leading us somewhere, like somewhere bad. So I'd like to roll an insight check on Kepri to see if he's been compromised or is acting suspicious
We dealt with the compromise.
that we know of. Come on. There we go. Wow, we're all pretty good tonight.
So Pepri, here's what you know. Pepri is not sure you're going to survive this. But Pepri is absolutely sure that she wants to save Gramemphyelis, no matter how many of your lives it costs. However, as you get to this point in the lake, let me just share something. Rising up from the play pool, you see T-Hole's actual, here's the thing. T-Hole's prediction comes to pass. As you see a zombified Hydra that formerly had 7 heads and now has 5 heads comes shooting up out of the water.
It was like, I knew it.
I mean, it's not technically a lich, Kepri says.
It's irrelevant. Holy shit.
I
And
selected it.
It-
Oh, I see.
He pulls out the rot dagger and starts preparing himself. That's a
Oh,
pretty gnarly picture.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not show up.
All right, initiative.
Yes. So some of you can apparently barely see it.
God damn it. I am rolling like shit tonight.
Just had to roll with the dex.
And you can also all notice that in the center of its chest, there is what appears to be a piece of metal that's glowing green, very faintly, but it seems as if it's embedded in its chest. So Aurelia, you get to go before the Hydra does.
So see this thing come out of the water. It looks zombified or like undead.
Yeah, it definitely looks undead. One of the head is skeletalized. 2 of the heads have been chopped off. And despite the myths, which are clearly bullshit, they're not regrowing.
Um,
Mm,
I really hate that I'm the closest one to
It's not a good day for Clave.
it. No, it's not.
For what it's worth, I was really afraid you were going to drown in 1 round.
yeah. Do I see the thing that looks like metal? Does it look like metal?
Yeah, you see it.
But it looks like metal to me,
Um,
or is it
not
too
sure,
far away?
technic- No, it looks like metal.
Well, hell's bells then. I'm just gonna go heat metal.
Okay.
Uh,
So roll 2d8.
It's a serious case of heartburn.
Let's see. Cast one.
At what level were you casting it at, I guess?
It was third, so it'd be what, 3d8?
Yep.
Okay. 12.
So you see steam begin to rise off of this thing.
All right.
Anything
I'm
else?
gonna run up here. Okay, that's it.
So it is going to lumber forward. Yeah, it's not that smart. It's just gonna go for the one that's right in front of it.
Of course,
So,
yes. Let's see how many critical hits that I get.
the 5 heads begin to strike out at the little morsel in front of it.
All right, so the first one, I'm gonna turn into a miss with my reaction for where is it?
Illusory double or whatever it's called.
Yeah, illusory self.
So it misses. So the second one hit.
It does.
So as it bites into you, you see there is a flash of green from the increasingly red hot amulet. And you take additional poison damage from the bite.
All right, so now I have to make a concentration check, so let me do that one. I have advantage on these because of Warcaster.
Thank goodness.
I don't think it's enough.
But 15,
Plus 11.
26.
13.
It's yeah,
You
so I
just
just
did it.
barely save.
Yeah.
And then it's third attack.
Yeah, that's a hit. And then my next concentration check. That succeeds.
Fourth attack.
Yeah, that also hits. And then let's see if I succeed again. Nope. So I lose my telekinesis,
And it's the last attack.
and that's a hit. All right, I have 6 hit points.
Understood.
It's
Right.
T-Hole's turn.
You're at full fighting capacity. That's good.
I'm gonna, Teal's gonna spend 3 Kai points. To summon his arms and his visage. And he is going in his bonus action. And he's gonna run up to this creature and start taking it to Pound Town with his fists.
Hashtag Pornhub. Those are both hits.
I get 3 attacks, right? Sorry, it's been a minute.
That's also a hit.
So I get 2 attacks for extra attack, and then I get my third attack with. I think I just get 2 attacks because it was my bonus action to summon everything. So I just get my 1 attack action, which has 2
But you
attacks.
do get, you do get your martial arts die.
That's right. I have the macro. So the first 2 attacks count. The last one does not.
There. And let me see.
And
You see
this
one,
is
you wail on one of the heads, and it sort of falls limp. And then picks itself back up. As you
Okay.
you nearly destroyed it, but its zombie fortitude allowed it to keep the head in action.
sounds good. And that will be my turn.
Okay, Clave.
Okay, let's see.
Astral Plague Infector.
I don't have it prepared.
All right, so seeing how devastating it was and that there's some connection between this creature and that purple and green amulet, I am going to, I'm looking at Zarius and I give him a glance like, trusting you not to let me die. And then
But you can trust me to let you go
YOLO.
down first.
I cast telekinesis
True.
once more and attempt to rip the gem out of its chest.
Okay. So I guess make me an athletics check with your spell casting stat and proficiency again. Because this is it's sort of in between attended and unattended. It's almost like it's wearing this thing. But I'll let you see if you can strip it off him anyway. That's enough. You're able to pull this red hot metal thing out. The green light is clearly attached to the object and not the creature. You kind of feel a sense of evil coming from it, but you're able to remove it. The creature doesn't seem to be damaged by that per se, and it doesn't fall over. So
Well, hopefully it doesn't do as much
fine.
damage. Maybe that poison damage will stop hitting. Maybe, hopefully, we'll see. So I want to use the spell to like forcefully shoot it like over here.
I didn't see where you were signaling because I've got this thing up. Over where?
About here. Or as
Still not
far as I
seeing.
can in that direction.
Okay, but yeah, it's not smart enough to like chase it down, so
Okay.
you're able to yeet it away.
Okay. And I know that takes away the effectiveness of your spell, Aurelia, but Clave
That's-
saw the connection and there's no way he could ignore that.
No, that's fine.
And then well, this will probably bring me healing faster. I know that this thing probably has tons of reactions, but I'm gonna try and run away.
It doesn't react when you move there. Nor there. There, it does react. And oops. There we go. So one of its heads tries to bite you.
So that one, I want to use my reaction for my unsettling visage, so it forces it to make the roll with disadvantage.
Okay, so it re-rolls. and
Yes!
Misses. And then a second head tries to bite you.
Yeah. And that one hits, and I'm down.
So it draws you back in its jaws. So good news is no poison damage.
Okay.
So yeah, so as Clave goes unconscious, Clave goes, yes, no poison. But is currently in the mouth of the creature. Of one of the heads of the creature. And it's Zarius's turn.
Okay. Can I still like maybe touch Clave?
Yeah, you could still touch Clave.
Cool.
Clave is essentially
Um,
just here. So you'd have to, move there, but
Let's see, let's double check. Yeah, it seems like a good choice.
I'm half hoping that you don't just revive me while I'm in the jaws of this thing. But
yeah, that's what I'm
beggars
doing.
can't be
What are you talking
choosers.
about? It's that or you die in there. What would you prefer?
Reincarnation.
not.
Aurelia runs up. Zarius, don't.
I've got a better idea. Let's remove his ability to transform into whatever the fuck he wants. No, I'm gonna heal you. So I will throw in a 4th level cure wounds, which gets maximized. So it's 4d8 plus 5.
So
37.
37.
There you go. That's how many you get.
And then I have a level of exhaustion, correct?
Yep.
So that was that. What I'm unsure of is what would happen if I were to use an action point and try and turn undead. Would he take Clave with him? Or would he drop him? I don't know. I really don't know. It's a tough choice.
Zarius wouldn't know either what this thing will do.
I guess that's not, then
I mean,
guess-
meanwhile, since it's on your turn, Kepper would be like, Fluffy, no. But Fluffy does not respond.
Okay. Okay, so I all right. I did my main action, which was heal, and I'm just like hearing the name Fluffy down in Draconic.
Yeah, Fluffy doesn't pay heed to you either.
Drop it.
Drop it.
Completely forgot to parlay when I talked to it.
Bad Fluffy,
Yeah.
bad. You don't know
Bad.
where you found that.
Yeah, you don't know where that thing's been.
All right. Well, I did that. I did the thing.
So did you move up to touch him?
Oh, I mean, oh, yeah, sure, okay. Sure.
Yeah, you don't draw an attack of opportunity. You're not leaving its reach.
Yeah,
You were
Um,
within reach already when you started.
I guess let me double check and make sure I shouldn't do an action point and do something. Double. I don't think it's gonna. Oh, I guess I could do this. Of course, it still was hitting pretty easily. Yeah, with a +10 to hit. No, I guess, yeah, no, I'll just wait. I'll just wait. I'll end my turn.
Okay, Aurelia.
I guess. So heat metals concentration, I have to keep that on the gem, right? Well, whatever that thing
can.
is. Okay,
It was pulled out.
Right.
yeah, but that continues and I can cast another spell.
If you like.
Right. Just not a concentration spell unless you
Correct.
want to drop it.
Correct. So that'll be another, well, that's 17 damage to the heat metal if it's doing anything to that thing. I'm hoping maybe that it'll get so hot it might like explode or be destroyed or whatever.
So yeah, it's getting, you can see it's glowing brighter.
Okay. Might go supernova. All right. I pull out some silver and I cast Black Spherical Death Strike on this thing. Come on.
And what is Black Spherical Death Strike normally known as?
Flame Strike.
So, oh, it closed its thing. There we go. Unsurprisingly, it fails its deck save.
Oh my God.
And it has to make a con save. Failed that one. So the head that's holding Clave dies. Is shorn completely off and is flopping around on the shoreline of this
Oh.
little pool.
I think I say
And-
falls into the water.
Yes, and Clave drowns after all.
Yeah.
No, so
Do
Clave
I
is
take
free.
any fall damage?
No, it wasn't that high.
Okay. I'm assuming I'm prone now.
You can make an acrobatics check.
No, I just came back from unconsciousness. I'm prone.
Okay. So the zombie now is
You were barely unconscious. Come on now.
so the zombie is one of the heads is going to go after the food that's just dropped.
Yep, that hits.
And the other three heads are going to go after T-hole.
That's a hit.
But that's its turn.
Uh,
It's T-hole's turn.
3 heads were going after Teal. So the
Yes.
last, man, all those hit. Damn.
Thing hits like a brick shit house.
Okay. T-hole is going to fight back with his arms and got 4.
They all hit.
As he just starts punching away, and then we get my martial arts die.
And it has to make another save. Oh, it made it.
Mm.
Let's see, let me check something. It's a 4. Well, it's not worth doing. I'm gonna spend an action point to take another attack action.
Okay.
Action point well spent.
Negate. No, wait. No, wait.
And that'll be T-Hole's turn.
Made it save. So it was undead and in rough shape. You would guess it's probably at like a third of its original hit points. And it's Clave's turn.
So Clave is gonna grit his teeth as he stands up, holding his guts, as all of the puncture wounds in his flesh are bleeding. And he focuses, and then there's a sudden kind of whirlwind around the creature, and like kind of a sudden stillness, and then from a point within the creature there's just this burst, like a bubble of invisible energy that kind of just ripples through the air. I'm gonna cast Synaptic Static as a 6th level spell. It doesn't get, I don't think it gets upcast, but I need to spend a 6th level spell to cast it.
So we'll see if it makes it save. Nope.
Love that. I love that
With a
spell.
-4.
I never really
Nice.
got to use that spell whenever I was playing Tacitus.
Yeah, it's a great spell. So now it shouldn't hit us so hard. Hopefully.
Anything else?
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna try and back away.
Stop it.
So
Just stand there.
So its 4 heads are going to go after you.
It's minus D6.
It's true. Can it miss? What's your AC?
It's 17, so it can't miss.
Nope, it hit.
Maybe if it was Bane's too.
Second head.
Oof.
Minus D6.
Oh, it
That one
missed.
misses.
Hey, doesn't matter if there was a D6 taken from it or not.
Oh, this one
D6 might
could
matter
miss.
here. Ah, there you go.
Yes, it missed. The spell worked.
Are you moving
So
anywhere
then
else
I'm gonna-
after you get back there?
Yeah, I'm gonna continue to get the fuck out of town. So that was what, 10 feet, 15, 20, 25, 30. Yeah, that's my turn.
Serious.
Um,
Yeah, 4 hit points left.
I'm gonna turn on dead now. As I make a wisdom save DC 18.
Did not make it.
Be gone, Fluffy. It's like
Bad dog.
in draconic.
So it's clearly getting ready to flee on its turn.
Oh wait,
But
I
a-
can't. I couldn't have moved as far as I did. I only have 15 feet of movement because I had to stand up.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
true.
Probably won't matter. But Aurelia, are you doing anything? You can see it's getting ready to run.
Okay. I'm gonna shoot it with some,
If you hit it,
what? It won't?
If you hit it, it doesn't run away.
Okay. I did not know that.
it'll just let you go.
For a minute, it will just run as
Okay,
far away
it's-
as it can.
It's turn for 1 minute
me.
or until it takes any damage. Okay. All right, so this will be subdual damage. Is that kind no, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna just well, of course, well, first thing I'll do. Okay, good. Oh, that's right, because Clave couldn't move that. I was gonna move away from the morsel because it may try to grab some food before it
Yeah,
leaves.
fill its pockets.
Yeah.
And then run.
I'm just gonna ready Eldritch Blast in case it changes its mind.
I imagine the turn undead in this situation is like a pack of jackals snipping at it, just like nipping at its legs, and it's like slowly backing away, and it sort of like chases it down, chases it away.
Oh, wait, the heat
The-
metal. I need to, sorry. I probably should roll that if it doesn't, I don't know if it matters, but I'm concentrating on it, damn it.
Yeah,
Ex-
And I'm rolling good.
so you see it recedes back into the darkness as it moves away.
How far down are you as far as like hit points go?
I have 4 hit points
Yeah, but like out of how many?
out of 80. 84 to be exact.
Oh, okay, that makes a difference. Okay.
I really wanted to use this spell on something else. That thing fucked you up.
Yeah. I just so happen to be the closest one to it because I got cursed by this sword that I picked up.
And you were fun sized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that gem thing still glowing white hot?
Yeah, it's not a gem. It is there are gems in it, but it appears to be a pendant. It appears to be like it's a scarab that's flanked by 2 winged cobras in gold with pearls and gemstones set into it.
That thing,
Okay.
it's evil. The energy is just, it's bad. Oh, I'm in so much pain. Oh gosh.
Well, I will hold the heat metal as long as I can on that to see if it does anything to it.
So it doesn't seem to be damaging it.
Okay.
But T-hole, give me an intelligence check.
Oh. That's what I gave my wife.
Oh,
So yeah, you don't know
Uh,
you don't know anything about it either. But it looks like this. You can see now that there's a long gold chain And you can gather that, you know, if you are wearing it, it deals poison damage when you make attacks.
Hmm.
Seems pretty cool.
Hmm.
I guess I'll assess the situation here and look to Clave. And even though, like, because of the dark vision, the eyes have gone black, they will glow for a moment as I speak a magical phrase. I cast heal on you.
Oh, that feels so good. Thanks, Aries. Ah, that sucked. It was so bad.
Hmm.
It's not gonna come back, is it?
It is best if we move.
Yeah, let's get the hell out of here. Oh,
And Kepri says, like, right across from us, that's where the entrance to the audience chamber is.
If I pick up that my oh shit, where do I go?
Is anyone taking the poison amulet, by the way?
That's what I was planning on doing. I was gonna take my my broken scepter thing and kind of pick it up because I know it's like white hot and kind of dip it in the water to try to see if I can cool it off now.
Yeah, it cools off because it's, you know, it's magic. It cools off
Okay.
pretty much right away after you break concentration.
Okay. And before I do that, I cast Death Ward on myself.
This is good, a good call in general.
Yeah, and I'll look at it and then just like examining it, looking at it, and then I'll go ahead and I'm not gonna put it on, I'm just put it in my pack.
Okay. So you guys can move yourself around the perimeter of the pool.
I'm gonna get away from the pool.
Hug the wall. Yeah.
Is Aurelia moving?
Yeah, I was just right. Sorry, I was making a note.
That's fine.
I would assume that amulet thing would probably have to be attuned.
It's not attunement. You just have to wear it.
Okay.
It,
Yeah,
it doesn't work just sitting in your pack. You would actually have to
right.
wear it.
Correct. I would. Okay. But yeah, she's not putting it on until unless she thinks that I don't know. No, she wouldn't put it on. It's Clave was saying how evil it was. So
Well, I can cast identify on it later if need be.
Let me switch people over because we got to move to a different map for this one.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a good look if T-Hole put it on. He already gets associated with the call to back now.
but might as well go all in. I mean,
It would be pretty. I mean, it was doing 2d6 poison damage in addition to each attack. So,
yeah,
I mean, it would.
if that carried over to you, that would make you
Mhm.
a freaking
It'd be pretty
powerhouse.
potent. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. If it were like not associated with the cult effect now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Like,
does it have to be on the outside? It could be like under your your shirt or jerkin or whatever you're wearing. I mean, I know you're not wearing pants, so I mean, as long as it doesn't hang that low.
So you find on the other side an enormous archway it's about 20 feet across. It's about 40 feet high. that leads to a gigantic audience chamber. The ceiling inside is about 50 feet up. It's vaulted. You can see at the far end. I assume you can all see now, or can't you?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do I have light? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
yep.
There's supposed to be, so there are torches that line the walls. At the far end, you can see just a little a little end of the pile of treasure that sits in an alcove. That probably was once the dragon's bed. Unlike the vision that Zarya saw before, there still seems to be a great deal of coin here. You can also see a table that seems to have several scrolls and other materials at the far end of the room. You don't see anyone here, though.
I keep a step behind Zarius.
Yeah, I mean, I guess slowly move.
So you can also see there's a set of double doors that leads to the south, and then another set of double doors on the far end of the wall. As you're walking, you see someone round a corner here, and he stops and freezes when he sees you. He is dressed in pretty much simple robes. He looks like he's probably a mage of some sort.
I'll speak, I guess, in Draconic. What are you doing here?
And he answers you back in common. What are you doing here? Who are you? Are you mercenaries?
Of course.
Yeah.
Why are you in the audience hall? You should be outside with the rest of the mercenaries. Has Paradonna given you permission to even be inside? You know there are zombie hydra living in that lake, right? You're lucky you didn't get eaten.
Very lucky.
I don't think you're authorized to know why we're here.
So telepathically, I'm gonna ask
Zarius, make me a
Aurelia.
deception check.
Damn it, Zarius.
Somebody else could have spoken up. Go on. Deception, you say?
So while
Couldn't
he's
like
doing
go
that,
go for a little bit of intimidation.
I mean, I guess if you want to do intimidation, that's fine.
I'm way better at that.
Wow.
No.
I'm big and imposing. Jesus fucking Christ, really? Important guy, you got anything to do for that?
So he begins to cast a spell.
I begin to cast a spell.
Spell off. Crap.
Uh,
I put my
So-
shield up.
in response to him casting a spell, I would try to cast suggestion on him.
I would
So,
try
but
to.
he started casting first.
I would try to counterspell, but I'm too far. Unless I'm able to move up 10 feet.
No, you can't move and then counter.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And he just out into the air in front of him lets loose a thunder wave. No one is in range for it, but there is a
But he
deafening
alerted
crack
everybody.
that is ringing through the halls. And then we can roll for initiative.
Oh, come on.
Fucking on it. I'm on it. These initiative rolls. My next character is going to be a divination wizard.
So Aurelia and then Clave and then the wizard goes.
Okay. Whiz. Hmm.
So, Clave would say to Aurelia, "Wait, let's see if we can charm our way out of this still."
All right. Can I just let him go and I'll go after him?
Yeah,
Is
you
that-
can.
Okay. Go
All
ahead.
right. So I'm gonna run up to range, so. Five, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. That should that should put me in range, right? It doesn't. Parts.
Stupid dragon size maps.
Well, let's see. It's a longer range. But it's such a high level spell slot. All right. I'm gonna put all my eggs in the basket of avoiding combat. So I am going to cast Mass Suggestion as an 8th level spell slot
Jeez.
because it's got the 60-foot range, whereas Suggestion only has 30.
This is what Lucirosi would do. So just use all the resources now.
Well, Clave has already come close to death once. He doesn't need a whole army in here circling about, trying to fight us. So, Clave is gonna shout, "What are you doing? We're Paradana's chosen. We're friends."
Okay, so what's the DC?
18.
Oh, never mind. Oh, I didn't realize you were Paradonus chosen. In fact, I've never heard of that term.
We don't
That's
like
how
to tell
important-
people.
That's how important you are. It's a secret designation.
Yeah, we don't like. Yeah, we don't like to tell people.
Well,
Did you just
Paradonus
summon a whole bunch of people to with that spell?
I alerted them. I don't know that they'll all run in here.
Well, you
Nothing.
better let them know that we are the Paradon is chosen and that, we're not to be messed with here.
Well, should I tell Paradona? The people are in two different directions. What do I do? Paradonna's probably in the temple, I would think, at the altar. She's working on a new demon flesh golem. But all the other wizards are in the alchemical lab. I guess I should tell them since, I mean, Paradonna obviously knows who you are.
Paradon
Yeah.
knows us. Go tell the
So
others.
he starts running in this direction. On his turn.
So Clave turns to everybody. He's like,
I really hope that works.
Okay.
So, question: who is Paradonna?
I just look at T-hole.
She's the one who got away. And then turned in, and then got involved with the cult of Vecna. So obviously we weren't compatible in the long term.
Who was it that we fought in the Mordecai's Manor again?
it wasn't
Paradonna was in
Paradonna.
Paradonna was in Mordekainen's Manor studying the astral gate, trying to figure out how to essentially direct the travel of the manor.
Yeah, we never actually got to encounter her, but we heard
Right.
about her.
Yeah.
And
So-
she also had the demonized knight that we fought in the manor.
Yeah. Like, yeah, there was some sort of portal of some kind that she sent him through, or some shit like that, right?
I thought it was a her. It was
It's
some
a her.
lady knight.
That's what she looked like.
Well, Paradana, but there was also that demon knight thing that Paradana had created.
Right. There were several half demon, half humanoid, half undead, really, fighters that you had to dispatch.
Yeah.
There were also creatures with like no eyes in their head, and they had eyes in their hands instead.
Hmm.
All of which you may encounter again here.
I just walk over to T-Hole and I'm going to cast Death Ward on him. And then I'm reaching in my pack and I pull out the amulet and say, you might want to, dress up to see your woman. Here you go.
Taking the amulet, does it? Because Clave mentioned that it was evil, or had this aura of evil about it.
Hmm.
Does T-Hole feel the same kind of sense of evil or vileness?
The amulet would feel familiar to you.
It was a wedding gift.
Feel familiar as in like I've worn it, like T-Hole has worn it before, or like
Yeah, you're not sure if you've ever worn it before, but you're sure you've encountered it before, at least. It may have been yours once upon a time.
The bling.
you know Aurelius.
Maybe it was a gift you gave to Paradana.
You know, Aurelia, something about this seems oddly familiar. Like I've seen it before, but it's beyond the reaches of my memory at the moment. And so he'll clasp it around my neck.
Okay, so you are going to wear it.
Yeah.
So it does, for every strike, you do an additional 2d6 poison damage. It doesn't inflict the condition, it just does the damage.
Sounds good.
And finally, this guy reaches the other end of the hall,
Is he
Wait,
tightly
it's-
winded?
quite a distance away. And the doors over on that end are about 40 feet high again. So it's a great effort for him to push them open. But you do see a skeletalized knight on the other end with demon flesh grafted onto its arms, helping him to open it. And he
Okay.
runs through and the door closes once again.
We want to like bar that door.
Yes, we should find a way to keep that closed.
Well, it opened outward into the room beyond. So then there's no obvious like locking mechanism.
So we're doomed, right? I think we can all agree, seeing that, hearing that there's some lady creating some kind of demon flesh golem. Yeah, we're doomed.
Tepri says, he said another demon flesh golem.
Oh, even better. Thank you for the clarification. That gives us a much better idea of where we stand. In deep shit.
We are not finished yet.
And that's where we'll wrap it up. We are not finished yet. So you have a couple of ways you can go. There's the door the guy went through. There's the door to the south, which you could probably intuit is where Paradana is, because he was not going towards Paradana.
Right.
Kepri would tell you, since it doesn't seem that the dragon is here, there is another audience chamber in the Hall of the Ancestors that's further inside into the north east. And that's where she would probably expect the dragon to be, if not here. She would also like to check on the hatchery where all of the eggs of the fairy dragons are kept. That's basically north of where you are.
Would it be okay with everybody if we took a minute so that I could cast Identify on the sword? Because if we're going to be facing these things, I think Clay wants to know the extent of the armory that we have now.
Okay.
We have that kind of time.
I mean, I figured we didn't have enough time for me to cast it ritually, so I'm spending an actual spell slot to cast Identify. I don't know that I've ever done that before.
There's usually
I'm
not
just-
a reason to.
I'm just curious what the hell that guy was doing over here on this side. Like I see this is must be the other glyph thing, right?
Right. Actually, this is something different. It seems to be almost an animated tapestry, but it is glowing with what looks like jets of flame shooting from the bottom to the top. You're not exactly sure what it is, but it's clearly magical. It just at the moment, it happens to look like it's looking out at some hellscape that's filled with these columns of fire.
Or evacuation.
And it is lifelike enough
That's
that it
this
looks
thing?
like you could this thing here.
Yeah, okay.
It is lifelike enough that it looks like you could step through it, but it also looks like you would immediately burn to death if you did right now.
Okay.
Good to know.
Yep. Good.
Don't want to burn to death. That'd be
Nope.
bad.
No.
Burn would be good.
Maybe we can close this thing. Maybe it is an actual portal and we can close it. That'd be handy. Something to try next time, maybe.
So are you casting Identify?
Yes.
It is a defender longsword. So that means it's +3 to hit and damage, but you can transfer a part of that bonus to your armor class as a bonus action. I think I have to look it up. Actually, I forget that.
Yeah, I know. I thought
Yes.
Oh, it's the first time you attack with the sword
think
on
it's-
your
yeah.
turn, you can transfer some of the bonus to your
Yeah, I was
armor
gonna say, I
class
think-
instead of
Oh,
I thought it was
instead
one
of
of the
attacks,
attacks,
using.
yeah.
So it's still tied to your attack though.
Yes.
Okay. So this is not going to be useful in my hand, so I'm going to give it to T-Hole.
It's a long sword. I don't think T-Hole can. He's proficient in long swords. He's proficient in simple weapons.
Longsword's a martial weapon.
Yeah.
I'll take it if nobody can use it. Because it might be worth it to hit something just to get the extra AC since mine sucks.
It does require attunement.
Oh crap.
And you also have the gauntlets of ogre strength that you found. Assuming that's what those are.
Wink wink, nod nod. Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, those require attunement too.
Yeah, and in version 6.1 D&D, there's no attunement slots. You have to worry about this stuff.
Yeah, there's nothing I want to end my attunement on for the gauntlets. T-hole, do you want the gauntlets?
It depends on what kind of type, like, would they be? Because I have to remain unarmored.
They don't count as armor.
Oh, they don't. Sure, I'll take the gauntlets.
Okay. So
Yeah,
they're
there was
unconfirmed gauntlets of ogre power.
Right.
Do you, Kurt, do you know, or maybe Hawk, as well, or Peter? Is there a way to make just a global modifier to damage to add 2d6? To like any weapon attack in roll 20?
You
Or
could,
is like,
Yeah,
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 it's just a
there's a
global
global
attack
damage
modifier, and then
modifier.
you could just check it.
go to the little gear box next to spells. And you should see all of the global modifier options and that you can check mark which ones you want.
okay. Let's try this. It's because I had bless in there, so I was
Yeah, that's in the attack modifier though. There's a damage modifier.
where's the damage modifier?
It's right in the, but if you have it checked, it's right below the attack modifier.
Yeah, it's adding to attack.
So do you have the global damage modifier field check marked?
I don't see a global damage modifier.
Well, okay,
Like
so
box.
on the character sheet, there's the core
Oh.
bio spells and then the gearbox.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I did not have that checked. Kurtz must be clicking on my character sheet.
Yes, I did.
Now it's checked. All right, well, that solves that.
Any chance we have a time for a short rest?
I mean, you don't know that anyone's coming. Kepri would suggest that if you need to rest, it would probably make more sense to find a safe spot, away from the play pool. Out by the
Okay.
lake rather than in this room.
I was trying to get a couple spell slots back, but I can wait.
Where's the
Could,
what's the
could DuckTales bury yourself in money?
Could you post the gauntlets?
Let's see. So I don't know how to make this actually visible to you because it's just in the normal SRD, but it's basically so long as you're attuned to the gauntlets, you'll have a strength of 19. It'll basically take a short rest for you to attune to it though. But that's really it. That's all these gauntlets do. They give you a strength of 19.
Okay.
But make sure you write down what your original strength is in case something happens to the gauntlets.
So,
Will do.
and then Peter, I gave you the sword if you want it.
Okay, and you said short rest. So you could have more than one thing you have, I mean, like, you could have more than 3 items to attune to. You just have to cycle through them and use short rest to do it.
Yes, you have to take a short rest to like de-attune from something and then a second short rest to attune to a new thing.
Okay, but what about like overnight?
Overnight, you could definitely reattune. Like over a
Okay.
long rest, you could reattune
Okay,
one item at least
gotcha. Okay.
and still sleep.
Okay.
So are you short resting? And if so,
Probably
where?
not.
Yeah, not right now. We don't have anywhere safe. So
You literally can't.
This is
So
pretty
you-
sweet. With these gauntlets, T-Hole's gonna be he has a strength score of 11. So like that puts almost 2 stats that are close to 20.
yeah, I have very few spell slots left and none above 5th level. So
Yeah, I can say I was very surprised that you used mass suggestion on this guy. I mean, it probably saved you people running into the room, so you got that going for you.
yeah, and that's
But-
what I was thinking. I was like, we don't need to alert this entire place to our presence. So we have more control now of the situation. And because I cast it at 7th level, it's gonna last 10 days. So he's not, and it doesn't require concentration. So he's not gonna just suddenly realize, oh, they charm me.
Right. Yeah, I
I
mean,
wonder how the-
so unless the spell says, like charm person says, like they'll know you charm them or friends says you
Mhm.
immediately become hostile. I don't assume that he would immediately realize it. Like if he got some ridiculous suggestion, he might figure it out. But he just thinks he's really gullible to believe this chosen of Paradonna nonsense.
Mhm. Yeah. So yeah, I figured it was worth the high level spell slot, even though that pained me to do it just because I needed a little bit of extra reach. But
This is basically room 1 of the complex. So you may need to strategize.
yeah. Especially if Paradonna's here, shit, we're fucked.
It'll just be a
think I-
little lover's quarrel. It'll be all right.
I think Clave is thinking probably the only chance that we actually have is if we can undo whatever is going on with Sirius's patron. Because if we have a dragon on our side, then that evens the playing field. But I think without that, we're fucked.
That was the hope, is we figured fucking something out. Like we have very little to go on. The only way to find out is to fucking come here.
Yeah.
If Paradonna's here, then she might have actually a better idea, and we can maybe get some fucking information from her. Though obviously she's probably extremely powerful, but I mean, all of us together, we are also extremely powerful. We are 14th level, characters. We could take out a level 20.
We're characters, all right.
Oh, we're supposed to be 14. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we have access to more than first level spells.
All fear. He just casts fear over and over.
Yep, immune to fear.
Let my reputation be known. Fear. That's how I rule. All right, it's pretty late, so I'm gonna head to bed.
All right.
All right.
Well,
Night,
good
Have a
everyone.
good
fun.
night.
Talk to you
All
later.
Thanks for playing.
All right, take it easy.